I am Linda Smith, and I am married to Kent. We've been married for 24 years. Kent and I work together in a construction company.
My mom is the vision of good health, doing what she's supposed to be doing to keep her body running how it's supposed to run.
When you turn 50, sometimes you have those little changes that come as you age. So we decided that we would kind of kick it up a notch and do a little bit of running.
When my mom decided to start running, I was super proud of her.
Obviously, I didn't start running. I started walking and then got a little faster, and then we moved on to running. Did several 5Ks, did some 10Ks, and a couple half marathons. We were actually training for a Dogwood Canyon 25K.
The day of her stroke, we were at my daughter's baseball game.
I looked out into the outfield to watch her field a ball, and when I looked back up, I noticed that my vision seemed a little blurry, and I just felt like my head was spinning.
I'm a medical assistant in a pediatric clinic, and so with our CPR and first aid training, we do learn the signs of stroke.
The first thing that my daughter, who was there at the time, did was ask me if I thought I was overheated, because obviously it was July and it was really hot. And when I said no, that I was fine, then she started asking a couple other questions. Took my pulse to make sure I was doing all right there.
I'm not really sure, honestly, why I continued to press. It wasn't the typical first signs of stroke that you would think of.
I really didn't think that it was anything serious.
Whenever we got her up to walk her to the car, then I noticed she was really leaning to the left.
I felt like I was just a little off balance.
It was after my stepdad shut the car door and had her all buckled in that I told him, when you get to the ER, you need to tell him you think she's having a stroke.
My husband pulled us into the emergency room. I heard over the intercom, "stroke alert." And I remember looking up at my husband and asking, I said, "Is that for me?" And he just shook his head. In the emergency room, everything moves so fast, you don't have time to panic or really think. They did a CT scan, I believe, maybe an MRI. Honestly, I don't remember.
The doctor actually came in literally minutes after I had got there and said she is in fact having a stroke. We do need to quickly administer the TPA.
TPA goes in and it busts the clot in the brain and restores the blood flow, and it allows the effects that you're having from that stroke to be reversed. It's a very small window of time. The faster the better that they can reverse those effects. We were within probably an hour.
They came in every 10 or 15 minutes, ask her the same question every time. What's your name? What's the date? What are you here for? She started to get a little annoyed with them. When they asked the question, the same thing, and they made her repeat the same answers every time, I'm like, okay, she's back. I've got my mama back.
I was feeling good again. I felt like I had vision back, the dizziness was gone.
They really weren't able to give us an exact why as to what caused the stroke. Her blood levels, her cholesterol, her triglycerides, all of that, her blood pressure was stone cold normal. And it always has been.
They felt I was too young to have a stroke, I was too healthy to have a stroke. It didn't negate the fact that I had had a stroke. So when I got home, I was a little paralyzed almost for a little while, just because I was afraid to do anything.
I think I probably at least called or texted, a million times.
I would start noticing a few things. I had a huge blind spot in one of my eyes, and so I went to my eye doctor, and he did some testing and determined that yes, this was a lasting effect, and that one won't go away. The stroke affected my sleep center of my brain, so when I came home I could sleep for 24 hours a day. I have a little short-term memory loss that we joke about, and that has been our saving grace, I think, is making a little bit of lightness from it.
She had taken a break of running, obviously.
Then I had asked the doctor, I said, I run, can I go back to running? And I said, if you feel like it, you may. And we did the Dogwood Canyon 25K in October, almost 3 months to the day after I had had my stroke. I believe that there's a lot of the public that still has that stigma of what stroke is and what it isn't. So I think that's one of the big reasons that it's so important for the American Heart Association and American Stroke Association to get the information to the people that there is no stereotype for who this happens to. that it can happen to anybody.
It's possible for anybody to know the signs and symptoms of stroke. The American Heart Association and American Stroke Association have been very diligent in getting information out to the public, such as FAST, the facial drooping, the arm weakness, the speech difficulty, and knowing when it's time to call 911.
I am grateful to the American Heart Association and American Stroke Association for the research that they do and for the fact that in 5 years' time, stroke has dropped from the number 3 killer to the number 5. Without the research, TPA would still be in the beginning stages of what they know about it. And continued research can possibly stretch that out to a longer window to give more people the opportunity to benefit from that drug.
My mom's not the typical stroke survivor that you would think of, but thankfully with the work that the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association do every day, more people are going to be able to live a story like my mom's.
I call her my hero.
I don't know that I'm a hero. I just did what I felt God was telling me to do.
We do a lot of things differently in our family now. Every day is a gift. You open your eyes in the morning and it's a gift because you have today.
My mom has not let having a stroke define how she lives anymore. Stroke doesn't win.
We don't live life in fear. We live life to the fullest because it is a gift.
Thanks to the work of the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association, both my girls are able to have their GAMI here for them.
I feel like I am living, walking, breathing proof that stroke is not a death sentence.
My mom is a warrior. She is a survivor, and I'm so glad that she's still here.
I am Linda Smith, and I am a stroke survivor.